I'm Jenny Lee Fowler. My official title is Manager of Social Media Strategy at MIT. So I am the social media part of any sort of main communications announcements or initiatives coming out of the Institute or anything with a presidential focus. First, I think it's important to do a little bit of discovery work, assess, do an assessment of your current online brand. And you might not think that you have a brand right now, but you might be surprised to find what you find, right? So, have you guys tried doing a Google search of yourself? What you want to do is you want to clear your browsing data because you want to make it sort of as even of a playing field as possible. And just look what comes up. Are you discoverable? Is it too discoverable? Are there pictures that maybe you want to untag yourself from because it's not exactly the first thing that you want people to see about yourself when they do a Google search? So I did a search on just Jenny Lee. So Department of Economics, that's obviously not me. The Jenny Lee profiles on Facebook, if you look at the web address, that's not me either. I'm one of these images. I'm one of the many Jenny Lees that are out there. There's 1,700 plus, profiles. That neither of these LinkedIn profiles are me. The Twitter handle is me, but as you can see, it's kind of a muddled group, right? It's not very distinct who I am. And really, I think sometimes when people are trying to do just a minor background check or just see what your digital presence is, if they click the first three and it's not you, I'm not sure they'll dig deeper unless they're really wanting to dig deeper. So then let's compare this to a search that I did on Jenny Lee Fowler. All of these images are me. The LinkedIn profile is mine if you look at the web address. Okay, I manage MIT Connect. That is my Twitter handle. So it's not that, I've had a lot of years in the digital space, so maybe that's why I might take up a whole first page in a Google search, but you want to kind of move toward that direction, right? Where it's a little bit more clear that who you are when someone does a Google search, right? So before we talk about how you get to that, more toward that side of the screen where it's very distinct who you are, I'm just going to really quickly go over some of the things that you don't want to do. And these may be obvious, but we're just going to go over them really fast, right? So please don't smoke weed naked in your car. Please don't say anything racist. This actually happened, and this woman is in PR and promptly got fired, right? Don't badmouth your current boss or your current job occupation. This will all show up. No matter how private you think a group is on the internet, it's never private, right? Anyone can take a screenshot of anything and make it public, and it really, really will come back to bite you, so just really be careful. So all of these things, you don't want to do, right? Chances are, if you don't want to talk about your political leanings, you don't want to talk about your religious leanings, we're going to go over real quick things you should stop posting or weed out of your social feeds by the time you graduate college. So I know this seems really, really picky, but there are just some things that are just a trigger of judgment. People see it, and they just, you don't want them to, you don't want to, but they will trigger an assumption about you. Get rid of all alcohol-related posts, especially, it feels like people around my age or people who might be interviewing you for a job, when they see Solo cups and pictures everywhere, they immediately make an assumption about you, right? Romantic involvements, so any type of drama, keep it off your social media profiles. Any work-related rants or complaints, you don't want to do that. Bad grammar or spelling, and just anything bad, anything you think might hurt your personal brand, just don't put out there anymore. I like to say if I have to ask someone about it, do you think this is bad or should I do this? I just don't do it. It's good to establish your goals, right? What are you trying to do? What do you want your brand to be? So these are just maybe the tip of the iceberg, but do you want to be viewed as an expert or thought leader or an influencer in your field? Are you trying to get your dream job? Or are you promoting your startup or business? Being really clear about what your goal is helps you make decisions about what you want to post or who you want to follow. So a clear goal will help you inform your content. So if you are trying to be an influencer, right, in a very specific field, and you start writing, so you want to start writing blog posts or articles or pitch articles or write, about that specific field and share that as your content. But if you're trying to promote your startup, then you're going to talk more about your startup. You're going to take pictures of your group or your invention or your field of study. And then you're going to kind of network with other people who have startups or that fund startups, right? As opposed to if you're an influencer, you want to try to get into conversations where other influencers are talking about whatever field that you're interested in. It'll help you choose the right platform. So I think there's a misconception out there that if you're going to be professional or you're starting a business or you have these brands and immediately I have to be on Twitter, I have to be on Instagram, I have to be on Pinterest. Especially when social media was really, really new, everyone felt this pull to have to be on every single channel, but that's not the case. You really want to think about the types of channels that you're going to take on. Do you have the resources? Is that where your audience is? Like, these are all of the things that you want to consider, right? And it'll inform the online conversations that you want to be a part of. Like, for instance, Reddit has asked me anything. Is that where your audience is? Would that help you promote your brand or what you're trying to do? And it guides who you should be networking with. So if there's a very specific company that you want to work for, you'll start kind of, following those people in Twitter or trying to be friends with them on Facebook. I mean, not in a creepy stalker way, but in kind of like a good professional networking way. So we're going to delve into choosing the right platform or platforms a little bit more. So be selective about your channels, because social media is a beast. Like, especially Twitter, like I call Twitter the gremlin in my office that I have to feed every hour because it takes so much content. Like, I feel like I'm, throwing it like, snacks every hour. So you have to think, what platform is your community on? If you're a florist or if you're an interior designer, there's a big audience for that in Pinterest, right? But if I am a scientific writer and I don't take a lot of pictures of my work, then Pinterest is not the platform that I want to be on. So you just have to really be thoughtful about the channels that you're on. And follow the leaders, meaning who is the person in your industry that does it the best, right? And who do you want to be like? If I think, gosh, that person is really rocking it and doing well, see how often they tweet or see which platforms they're on and see what kind of content they share and do the same thing. And it works with your content. There's so many people that I talk to on campus in the department labs and centers, and they say, we felt like we needed to be on Instagram, so we opened an Instagram account. And I say, okay, that's really great. So what pictures, what kind of images do you have? And they say, well, we don't really have any images. And I'm thinking, why are you on Instagram? So if you have to find the platform that works for your content and the content you have, and it must be a good fit. If you hate the platform, if you don't understand it, and I know this sounds odd, but I do get this a lot, people, like, explain Twitter to me. I don't get it, and my manager is making me do it. And you can almost tell, like, they have a visceral response to this, and their whole body, starts like, oh, I hate it. I could talk about the merits of Twitter until I'm literally blue in the face, and it will not convince you, right? If you hate the platform, you're not going to succeed in it. So we're going to look at building a content strategy. And remember, I don't think I have to tell this to you guys, but social media is a conversation. It's a two-way engagement that's happening. So this is not happening anymore. Like, a lot of organizations, I think they felt like social media platform was another channel for them to just push out their message, and that's not the best way to build your brand or your audience or rapport with your audience. So we don't want to do that, right? So don't flood your feed with repetitive posts. So even say you have a blog post and it's great, right? And definitely on platforms you should share it multiple times, but you don't want to share it like 5 times in a row because then that kind of feels spammy. A portion of your post should be original content, right? Because people want to know what your work is, what you're thinking, what your content is, and that's like that's like what you're offering them that no one else is offering them, right? So you want a portion of your post to be original. A portion of the content should be relevant to your audience, but not your work, right? You want to show that like, hey, here's someone I really appreciate, or here's an article that I really got a lot out of, or here's this new person I'm following on whatever platform and I'm really enjoying them and I think you'll enjoy them too, you know? And the thing is, when you give someone love, chances are they'll give you love back, right? And that's all a part of what we do on social. A portion should be you interacting with other people, like ask them questions, and then if they ask you questions, remember to always respond, you know, just engage in a conversation, have it be active and have it be authentic. A portion should be about you and who you are and what you like. This woman so Nikki Sundstrom is the director of social media at University of Michigan, so she kind of does what I do, and she's known for really doing it well. And she has 6 kids. And she talks a lot about that. She talks about her kids. She talks about having a big family. She's into politics. She says, I am into politics. I believe she had a background of helping campaign, maybe for local politicians. Her banner image gives you an idea of the different things that you can expect her to share. Here's another example, right? Here's Arianna Huffington. She's also starting a new effort called Thrive Global, and this gives you an idea of what she's presenting and what she is championing. But in her bio, she also writes mother, sister, flat shoe advocate, sleep evangelist, HuffPost founder and CEO of Thrive Global. So it's not just all business. It's like, you know, I thoroughly expect her to push women's issues, right? Because she talks about being a mother and a sister. You can go full throttle and say, this is me, you've seen me on all of these channels, this is my brand, you know, I am, and kind of go full on professional, which you can decide this for yourself. So there's kind of different levels, but you can see it's all an amalgamation of who you are, a little bit of the personal, a little bit of the professional, all kind of rolled up. Here, number 5, I put sweat the details, right? So it's the little things that really do make a difference. So make sure your profiles are consistent, use the same handle, photo, bio, and links. If you can, get a professional headshot. Use best practices of the platform, always link to something if you can, because that's what adds value instead of just the one-off post. You know, link to something further, link to your work, link to someone else's work you think is valuable. And give credit where credit is due. So if you use someone's photo, credit the photo. If you're posting someone else's article, make sure you mention them. And remember, it's social, so it's okay to have fun, right? You know, show your personality a little.